Bienvenidos una vez más a Lili Sin Barreras. La semana pasada tuvimos problemas técnicos, me dicen que no los vamos a tener esta semana, veremos a ver si podemos confiar en eso. Welcome everybody to Lili Sin Barreras. I hope that you have had a good week. If this is the end of your week or the beginning of your week, and you will join us today because today we have a guest that I really love. I can say that. I truly, truly love Chiedza from the bottom of my heart. But I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about what's been happening over here on Lily Sin Barreras for us. She is in the green room. She's ready. She's, all connected, all that kind of stuff. So hopefully we won't have any trouble whatsoever like we did last week. So they tell us we're not having that. Pero quiero darle las gracias a todo el mundo que estuvo con nosotros en el día de hoy, a mi equipo, a Wandita. I cannot tell you, without people behind you, by your side, in front of you, blocking, making sure we're like a football team. That's how much I know about football, right? Except that they don't attack me. And so today we served over 40 meals, almost 50 meals. My boy Tommy was there. Mike was there. And we were able to serve men and women. We're seeing a lot more women. I never know how to feel about that. The more people we reach, the better it is. But it also tells me the crisis that we are living in and what's the housing problem and what are the other problems that we have. And I just want to take a few moments later on so we can talk a little bit about why I have the posting that I have on my Facebook about the Bristol police and what we are confronting here in the town of Bristol. And so I'll tell you what my take is on that. But I wanted to invite you all to really pay attention to what's happening in your communities. ¿Qué está pasando en nuestras comunidades? Tenemos que estar alerta de lo que está pasando en nuestras comunidades. No podemos ponerlo la venda ahí, las gringolas, como decimos nosotros en Puerto Rico, y pretender que las cosas van a cambiar así. Y por eso yo creo que la invitada de hoy es tan importante, no tan solo porque yo la amo y la quiero y la conocí durante una crisis. And it's incredible how crisis can bring people together. But how about if we stick together, stay together, work together? So when things do happen, we already have a tribe, we have a team, we know who to call, what we're doing, what we've done in the past, that has been beneficial, not beneficial. What are the studies? We had a great group of people come together. We had women from Peru, from Cuba, from Argentina, from Colombia, from Puerto Rico. So it didn't matter that we, Puerto Rico, were the ones suffering this disaster. And there was Mexico, and there were other countries also suffering. But when the Latinas en la Resistencia came together, many of us from different walks of life, different generations. As a matter of fact, Chiedza is younger than I am, much younger than I am, but it's so much to offer. And when I met her, I thought, wow, que joyita, o que joyón, mal hablada. En Hartford, y yo no tenía ni idea que ella existía. So today you're going to be able to talk to someone who actually is working on a project that could take us to the next level. Give us the opportunity as community members to really get involved, to really bring our thoughts, our concerns, our fears to tangible action. Tangible action. Porque todos estamos soñando. ¿Verdad? Yo estoy soñando que todas las cremas que me pongo de Jennifer López no me van a dejar, mira, así, ni estirar. Pero eso no quiere decir que sea la verdad. Hola Raquel, ya mismo comparto todos los comentarios de todo el mundo, pero quiero ver si nos podemos tomar un minuto de silencio para todos nuestros hermanos que han perdido. Here in the town of Bristol, we have suffered an amazing tragedy. We lost 2 officers. 1 was wounded. This is 3 families that are affected. Do you think? No, this is an entire community that is affected. These are children that their parents are going to have to, at one point or another, tell them what happened. There is children of those who caused this horrific ambush, who people say, well, I'm not ready to deal with them yet. And I get it. But those babies were not signing up to be the child of someone who would ambush anybody. So they're just children. So there's no winners in violence. None. There's no winners. I don't care who I talk to. You cannot convince me that in violence, they're winners. They're only losers. We all cry. We all hurt. We all lose. Even when we win in court, we don't get our loved ones back. So I'm going to bring on our guest. And if you see me a little bit somber, is that what I'm thinking about today? And with her, we can take a moment of silence to join our communities. And today I'll tell you, it's right down the street from where many of us live. But what hits me the most is that people are still surprised that this is happening. Okay. And part of me says, I never want to lose that feeling of being surprised, because the day that I do, that means I've normalized it. And I don't want to ever normalize anybody getting killed, children being without parents. The day that I normalize it, I think is the day that I quit being an advocate, because it cannot be normal. And I refuse for it to be normal. So with us, we have artists, we have writers, we have a whole bunch of people. I tell you, share the video, because you are going to love our guest. And she is, I think, as transparent as I am, which is a really good thing. And she's la abogada, la licenciada. Con nosotros y en nuestras cámaras va a estar, mírala ahí, qué linda, mamita, qué chula. I love you, baby.
Buenas noches, Lili, ¿cómo estás? Y saludos a todos.
Welcome to Lili Sin Barreras. Chiedza, congratulations.
Thank you.
That's the bar.
Yes.
Congratulations. She is a lawyer, but we always knew. I signed up before anybody else. Okay, so I'm number one on that list.
Yeah.
Chiedza, tell us a little bit about who you are and about this amazing project that you've chosen to take on.
Yes. So, mi nombre es Chiedza Rodríguez. I currently live in Windsor, but I had been a long resident of Hartford for like 20 years, or más. 21 years. Pues me acabé de mudar. And honestly, my majority of my professional life, I was working with adolescents in the city of Hartford, doing youth development work after school, working with teenagers to do participatory action research projects, which is basically identifying social issues they face that they want to do something about, and gathering the necessary information to decide, okay, so what's the cause? What's the root cause of what we're feeling? And therefore then come up with like, okay, so what we're going to do about it, right? Which was always such a very fun thing. I've stayed pretty much in that until I was like then training adults on how to work with young people for a while. Y nada, I've done a lot of things. If I keep going, I'll go off track a little bit of the stuff that I've done. But more recently, also I've been working with folks who are going from youth development, doing youth-led organizing, right? And I bring that up only because this new opportunity is kind of in that same vein. It's not necessarily a community organizing project. It's called the Hartford Health Leaders Program, training program, and it's open to 20 Hartford residents of folks who want to do something of a social issue that they're facing in their neighborhood, right? So again, it's not about identifying problems for other people. It's like, what's going on in my community, in my life that I'm dealing with, that I want to do something about. But maybe I didn't know how to start, right? So then you got me to help you know how to start. But like you were mentioning earlier in your opening, it's really about how do we create the space and the opportunity for people who are like, mira, yo siempre he querido hacer algo, pero I just, no sé dónde, no sé, how to get started, or maybe just need a little support to get that done, right? I don't want it to sound scary or anything. I mean, we use, the whole concept of like addressing the social determinants of health, right? What are the social issues that affect our health? And again, it's looking at trying to take a different look at our neighborhood, our community, and to see what's going on, what are we facing, and what can we do about that, right? It's so it's a collaboration between the City of Hartford Department of Health and a research organization in New Haven called CARE. So they're gonna be monthly trainings or sessions that we'll have together by twice a month, right? So every other week, because we need time and support to be able to get some of this stuff off the ground, right? And it's for 9 months. So we're gonna start in January. It should end in September, and in that
And
time.
how do
Mhm.
Okay, I'm sorry, Chiedza.
Oh,
For
no.
all of you who are interested, there is a process to this, and I love how you are introducing this. But there is a process to this, and she's going to talk about it. So don't run away and say, "Ay, but yo no cualifico." Oh, I'm not the person. You might be the right person.
Yeah, I mean, again, I try to make sure that folks understand that
No.
it's not scary. It's not a scary thing, other than maybe if you're introverted, it might be a little scary for you because you got to talk to people, right? You got to reach out to your neighbors. You got to talk to other people, get people involved, because it is about how do we build that network, right? Of the folks that we can call on, that we can, when something comes up, we're like, oh, mira, we got to get on this. This happened. We got to do something, right? And you might be that person, or you might know somebody, be like, oh, mira, tú sabes quién es en mi neighborhood, siempre que algo pasa, esta la que siempre está al frente llamando a uno, qué sé yo qué. So then let her know. So the whole process thing is, there's an application. So, and I can send you the link. But you apply, you basically give me your basic information, and then there's 4 main questions that you have to answer, right? Which is thinking about, why would you want to join our this training program, this leadership program, and what is it that you want to do, in your community? Have you thought a little bit about this? What is it that you're interested in, and what do you bring? What do you bring to to the table to do it, right? So, for example, I have one. We already started enrolling, so we already have some members, but we still have spaces available, so don't run away. So some folks come like with a culinary background, right? They graduated, they can cook, they know about food. I'm like, all right. And they're interested in that. They're interested in, like, okay, what's healthy and accessible in our neighborhood? What does that look like? And when I have to feed my family, what do I have to take in consideration? So we're going to talk a little bit more about that, right? If that's your area of interest, that's what you bring to the table, then amen, let's go, right? Ideally, we're going to have a cohort of 20 folks. And ideally, I want to break folks up into small teams, right? To work on community projects in their neighborhoods, but ideally not alone. Because nobody likes to work alone. And when we really want to do real change and community-based change, we can't do it alone, right? We have to reach out, and we have to be able to figure out, if not just what's in our head, if that's really what's going on. We got to get other people around the table, and it's like, okay, so how are we going to get into this? Yeah, so I'm really excited, actually.
So, Chiedza, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
I love the idea of having access to food, because I know that's difficult. I mean, Juanita and I were talking, and I literally went to one of the grocery stores, and I don't want to blast them because I know every grocery store is going through the same thing. So it's not about the grocery store, it's about our economy at this point. And yeah, there's always, people out there gouging other people, but I don't think the main chains right now are the ones that we want to be caught now. But I brought 2 bags home, and I spent $173. Yeah. And this is, let's be clear, this is for me and my husband. Okay. And I bought some cat litter for my cat because, he needs that cat litter. But that was $173. So yes. When you are looking at things like that, you're going, crap. And yes, I try to, bring some organic stuff in there and all that kind of stuff. But not everything is organic, not everything. And And if you want to eat healthy or better or whatever is recommended to you, do you have access to that? Do you not have access to that? And what does that mean? So I love that idea. What happens just because we are where we are? What happens if I live in the city and I am terrified right now of the level of violence? Would that be a project that I can bring to the table and say, listen, every day I walk with my two little ones and I want to give out that dollar to help maybe someone, but I'm afraid. I don't know who to trust. How can I do something about it? Can I come with that of a vague of an idea and we would work on it? Or do I have to come with this whole plan that says, here's my plan?
No, you can work with that big of an idea, right? Because that's the whole point. It's like we're gonna flush it out. We're gonna see, okay, well, what does this mean? What does, when you're talking about being afraid and what kind of violence, how is it going on, and how do you experience it? What are your neighbors? How can we include some of your neighbors in that discussion, right? Who can you pull in that are your friends, or maybe your neighbors, that your next door neighbor you can talk to, be like, okay, Mira, you're experiencing this. Does this bother you? How do you see this happening? Because only when you're gonna come up with solutions to things, first of all, you don't want nobody else telling you what to do, right? So you have to.
Why you look at me when you say that?
No. Nobody likes it. So if you want something that's doable, then you have to be the ones to be part of coming up with what's doable, right? That you think will make a difference. And that's the goal. That's the goal. If you have a really worked out idea, which I have some folks who have applied who have a pretty clear idea about what they want to do, right? I have another participant who's very interested in flushing out some sessions, some community sessions on dealing with trauma, right? With how we are dealing with just the trauma that we've experienced because of community violence, or because of lack of access to food, to transportation, to just the lack of resources, right? Because that creates some things we all have to deal with too. So they're more focused on, okay, I want to do something about that. I'm like, okay, cool. And all of these things are parts that we're going to have to flush out, and we have 9 months to do it. And
to birth.
Yeah. And it's 9 months to get it started, right? Because this is about starting. If you haven't already, or if you've already started but feel like you need a little more support too in the kind of work that you want to do in your community, then this is the place to go, right? We want to get people started. Understand that this is, like, at least in my opinion, and it's my personal opinion, this is a lifestyle, right? It's a lifelong thing. I'm really excited that I had joined the Latinas in the Resistance, and I got to meet all of you, right? And that we've had other opportunities to connect on things that we care about, right?
Yes.
So it's a lifestyle, it's a lifelong thing. And I've made relationships that I hope to have forever. So, and that's what I want for others. And we want to create the space for that to happen for other people as well, right? And in this case, focused around how do we make our communities healthier in any aspect of what we want to work on as being healthy, right?
No, I love that. That's beautiful. Can you repeat that? Because I always say to people that everything affects our mental health, right? So if you don't have access to food, if you don't have access to, peace, harmony, if you feel unsafe, if you don't have, where you can buy a gallon of milk that you feel like, puedo caminar hasta allá. If you don't have transportation, if you don't have a job, if you're working part-time, if the bees are driving you crazy, like they drove me in the park today, and we're like, you're not supposed to swap at bees, but it's either that or they eat your food.
Yeah.
So it's that kind of stuff. It's everything. It's everything and anything, right?
Yeah.
That can impact our life. So I
For
love
me,
that
like,
idea.
the one that comes to mind, and I'm sorry, hopefully you don't hear my TV just randomly turned on. There's ghosts in here. I don't know. The one that I
We
think
will talk to somebody else about that.
the thing that comes to mind, the thing that has affected me the most in the last 2 years, 3 years, has been the isolation that we've experienced because of COVID, right? So on top of the regular stuff, on top of regular, not so regular, right? But the violence or any of the other and the high cost of food and the access to a high, a living wage, any of the social issues that we face, the isolation to me has been so detrimental, right? For my mental health, for just my growth. So something as simple, that might seem simple to some, right? But creating opportunities for people to build relationship, to be in relationship with each other, which I promise you, I feel that we have lost the knowledge of how to do, right? We used to take it for granted, and now we're like, well, how do I do this? Well, I haven't seen them in forever. Do I just call them? Like, what do I do? Right? That even creating those spaces is something that could be a project that falls under the health leaders, right?
I love this. So you are the leader of this. You have tons of experience because you've worked with younger people, adolescent, but you've also worked with people like me because I was part of La Latina La Resistencia. So you were kind of, we were looking at you like, okay, how do we put all of this together? And I was sitting there like a little girl going, all right, teacher, because she is such a good instructor. She is really, really good at doing that. And that's part of what you do as well. So I didn't know that. So I was así, con los ojos así de grande, learning and the ability that you have to take an idea, create a strategy for it, and work on execution. And I think that's tangible, because we all have thoughts about, well, we could do this, but how?
Right.
Or what are the barriers? No, nobody's going to want to show up. Nobody's going to want to talk to us. Who's going to open their door? But everybody's scared right now.
Our fears.
So, right. So our fears become our barriers. And to have someone like you say, okay, well, let's flush it out. Let's chew on this until we can come up with something is truly valuable. So it's the city of Hartford and collaboration with.
Yes, and it's a collaboration, with an organization called CARE, Community Alliance for Research and Engagement. They're out of New Haven.
Which is great because the city of Hartford is working with New Haven partners.
Yeah,
so I really like that.
Because this was a project that was executed in New Haven and has been working out in New Haven. And this is the first expansion into Hartford. So it's exciting in itself that they're moving this curriculum over here, and really just finding different ways and how do we build with community, right? And trying to address all the issues that we all wish we could solve alone, but really, how do we involve community in doing that and it being as organic as possible, right?
So I want to share with you already. Thank you for the stars. Thank you for the stars. Thank you, Rose Crespo, for buying 200 stars. All of this helps us, move our mission forward. I can't believe that people are, that people are so generous and want our content to continue and for us to have these conversations y seguir hablando así en la lengua. Por ahí están los papás tuyos.
Sí.
Se está escuchando. Ese papá tuyo tiene que estar jalándoselo. ¿Qué dijo esa? ¿Qué dijo? Bilingüe, papá, bilingüe.
No está arriba,
tranquilo, para que me den cafecito cuando yo vaya para allá. Pero este es el único programa donde ustedes pueden hablar inglés y español, and you can switch it up in the captions if you want to. Y alguien me escribió y me dijo, you need to make up your mind. And I said, I won't. Because both are part of my world. Right? So, yo soy puertorriqueña. So, I've lived here and I live there. And so, this is the composition of who I am. And there's so many of us who are part of that. Okay? So, no lo voy a cambiar.
No.
So, agradezco muchísimo, but I want to tell you that there are some people here sending you love. And you have a fan.
Oh. Yay.
Mi mamá dice, felicidades, mi mamá.
Gracias.
Canta bello.
Oh.
Es tremenda. So, mommy is already giving you the good stamp. We have Margarita González, la dueña de los flanes. Tenemos a Moco Yomba, que es mi hija maravillosa. La quiero, la amo, la adoro. Tenemos a Wandita, ya tú sabes. We also have Kathleen 10 Hours, who is the author that we talk about all the time. And she says, congratulations. Saludos cordiales para todos los que están aquí conectados de nuestra merenguera. Raquel Maldonado. Eso fue para todo el tiempo. So if you want to listen to some really good merengue and dance all night, all day, whenever you want, you must look up Raquel Maldonado y su orquesta. She's been all over the place. I mean, she's literally one good voice out there y un ser humano bien bonito. So, gracias a todos por las estrellas. Chiedza, tú eres bilingüe, bicultural, eres madre de un pequeñito hermoso.
Bien chulo.
Bien chulo, tengo que decir que sí, que es verdad que es bien chulo. Eres licenciada, lo que nosotros llamamos abogada, so she is also a lawyer. You've been an educator for a while. You've been a community oh my God. You've been a community activist for, I think, since you were out of the womb, from what I heard from your parents, since like she was just like born this way.
You're biased.
Right. No, I kind of think that might be right. I agree with them. You are an amazing human being. I know you personally. She's a great hugger. I love that about her. Chiedza, what makes you say yes to a project like this en estos momentos tan fuerte? Because we are living, the pandemic hasn't gone away, people.
No.
Okay, so it hasn't gone away. So we are living in a different world than the one we were used to. What makes someone like you, who's being pulled from every side, because I know I pull on you, decide, okay, this is a project that I want to take on? What's the vibe here? What makes Chiedza say, yes, I'll take this on? I mean, the City of Hartford is very smart to choose you. Congratulations. But what makes Chiedza say yes?
It aligns with who I am, you know, and I am very also picky about who I get to work with. And
that's why I'm asking the question.
Yes, and you know that the lead person at the City of Hartford who's leading this is Elvi, and Elvi is amazing, and I just want to be surrounded by her all the time as much as I can. So I'm like, yes, sign me up, sign me up, and because it aligns. I was like, I'm more on the positive than the negative, right? I'm like, it doesn't break my rules. It goes with the basic premise that you're giving the space for communities to identify their own issues and for them to come up with their own action strategies, right? And that's what I've been about my whole professional career so far, you know, and I think it's what works, right? Nothing else really makes sense to me anyway. So I was like, yeah, I can do that. I know I've had experience and I know how to create curriculum and send trainings, and I know how to help folks kind of work through a project and build it out, right? I've done that for years. And I personally need the social interaction to connect with people, to hear what their ideas are, because I learn so much and get so much from it, right? So I'm like, why would I say no? You know?
But for those of you who don't know, we've had Elby here, and she works at the City of Hartford. She is amazing, answers whenever we need her, and for whatever we need her, guides us, or her herself is sending out her team to support us. So she's been doing this for a very, very long time. But I love the sisterhood for us in our own communities to be able to identify, we have the talent right here. Wait a moment. Let me contact some people that I know. Y esto es algo de las cosas que yo siempre hablo. A veces siempre estamos buscando el talento fuera, muy lejos de nosotros, pero el talento vive aquí. Y Chiedza vive aquí. So, antes de nosotros tirarnos, ¿verdad?, a buscar talento fuera de nuestras comunidades, a veces necesitamos mirar y darle las oportunidades a aquellos que viven en nuestras comunidades para que de esa forma ellos puedan crear esa esperanza para aquellos pequeños que nos están mirando para ver si hay un espacio para ellos. Y entonces eso es lo que tú has creado a través de los años, Chiedza. Has sido la portavoz de aquellos jóvenes que quieren llevar un mensaje y que tienen un mensaje. Pero dicen que el mejor maestro es el que decide no tan solo ser maestro, pero estudiante a la vez. Y tú tienes esa habilidad. You were blessed with that stand.
Los jóvenes me enseñaron temprano que ellos son los que más dan, son los que más te enseñan. So, si cuando tú estás trabajando con alguien y ellos te dan el regalo de contarse su historia, de decirte cómo viven, qué es lo que está pasando, es un regalo que te están dando. Y el que está aprendiendo eres tú, porque tú le puedes proveer, de nuevo tienes que ser, ¿verdad? Tienes que ser dando y dando. Si ellos comparten contigo, tú tienes que también compartir. Y si Dios quiere, lo que tú traes son recursos que quizás ellos no tenían o experiencias que ellos no tenían para combinarlo y crecer juntos. Pero realmente ellos son muchos y pues la que va llenándose más soy yo. Yo más que tengo un regalito que dar. Ellos son muchos regalitos y entonces pues I walk away with all of their stories and all of their experience and their ideas and just their energy, you know. So it's like I learned from young people a long time ago that they are the ones who I'm the one who learned the most. You know, I try to create a space for all of us to share power, to share ourselves, and to reflect on who we are in our communities, to really look at our lives. But really, the members and whoever is in the group is really who make it rich. You know, and I'm just thankful for the opportunity to be in that kind of space.
Chiedza, how does, before we get into the application process and how people can contact you, and my team will put it up and do all of that great stuff, being a mom, because now you were a mom in COVID.
Yeah, sucks. I mean, yay.
No, it sucks to, like, you know, not have the opportunity that some of us did. Hey, voy a llevar a nena aquí, voy a llevar a nena acá, voy a blah, blah, blah. You've had to bring a baby into the world where you had to protect them 3 times more, 100 times more, because, you know, there was this
and keep him
it
from
continues
people.
to be keep him from people, and you're a very, very loving person, and your family is too. How does this project look now through the eyes of a parent? Because you were not a parent when you were working with these younger people. How does this little, beautiful, delicious baby change your perspective of the work that you do?
So I had mad respect for moms before, but I didn't know how much I should have been, how much more I should have had the reference to them. I'm like, yo, this is not easy. And so I see the importance of childcare and the expense and the trust factor. Hello. That alone is like insane. So I'm like, okay, how do we do this? And not to complain too bad, but a little bit. Insurance is really expensive. So even to be able to provide childcare, which is something that is not necessarily feasible for me right this time, for this we can support folks and folks who get into the cohort. If you have childcare needs, we may be able to support you a little bit in that, you know, in terms of providing some funds for that. But we can't like provide a childcare provider for you to bring your kids, you know. Though that to me would be the ideal. But the costs are like
insane.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, so so those things really kind of become heavier. When I was running program before, and childcare was always, you know, it's a given. It's like, yeah, you need childcare. Hello, people got kids. You can't do things in the evening without thinking about the kids, right? But it takes such a different tone when you're a mommy too. You're like, Like, okay, so where, what time, how do I make sure it's the safest kind of environment? How are my parents going to feel comfortable? How long am I going to keep them? I can't be keeping people too long. They got a life. They got to take care of their families. Because sometimes you can get real selfish in these projects, you know? And it's all about like, oh, this great thing we're doing. And we're like, take it slow it down a little bit, because you have to take really into consideration what family life looks like. Oh, I don't know if you can still hear me.
Estoy llegando acá. So things do change when you are
Mhm.
parenting, and
Hello.
during a child. Oh, that's too bad, because we can hear her clearly.
Oh, okay. I couldn't hear you, so I was like, do 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 do.
Excuse me, I'm still fighting that cold. So, how do people get involved? Like, really, what do I need to do?
Okay,
And
so
then we'll have my team put something really nice together for you, so people can sign up
and
for it.
I'll send you. I can send you in an email the flyer, so that you
Oh,
can
yep,
post it. And there's also a link to be able to access the application. So
awesome.
basically what you do is that you click on the link and you fill out the application. Like I mentioned, you put your your contact information, and there's 4 questions that we need you to answer just on a Word document, and you can just send that to me.
Is this in English or in Spanish?
It's in English. It's in English, but if you need it en Spanish, si necesita que sea en español porque no lo puede entender en inglés, no hay problema. Lo que tienes que hacer es que me llamen,
Okay.
¿ok? Porque mi contacto está ahí, me puedes mandar un email y yo hago arreglos contigo para poder ayudarte a llenar la solicitud. Porque no va a ser un límite de que tengas que hacerlo en inglés, por ninguna razón. Pues nada, una vez llena la solicitud, entonces yo me voy a comunicar con la persona y voy a hacer una cita para una entrevista, que realmente es para poder conocerte y entonces y hablar un poquito más de tus preguntas, de las preguntas que tenías, y explicarte un poquito más del proceso para ver si todavía consideras que es algo que puedes hacer, ¿verdad? Porque si es it is a commitment. Son 2 veces al mes, por las tardes, van a ser, lo más seguro de 6:30 a 8, o de 6 a 7:30. Pero vamos a ver, estamos bregando con el tiempo, dependiendo cuando tenga las personas, para que mejor funciona para ellos, ¿verdad? Pero fuera de eso, tendrías que hacer trabajo sobre el proyecto durante la semana por ti mismo, tú sabes, que no solamente en las reuniones. Tenemos que hablar para asegurarnos que, ¿verdad? Que sí puedes hacer ese tipo de compromiso. Y nada, y una vez tengamos esa entrevista, pues entonces tomamos la decisión si puedes ser parte del cohort. Y una vez tenga las 20 personas, pues entonces empezamos. Y si Dios quiere, pues tenemos todas las 20 antes de enero. Pero ahora como que no sé si me oyes, pero ya yo no te veo. Así que... ah, pero por si acaso el público sí me oye, yo quería añadir un poco más, si no le molesta, en términos de esa última pregunta, en términos de cómo impacta el hecho de que yo sea una mamá, una nueva mamá, porque es nueva. Mi nene tiene 1 año y medio nada más. en cómo veo este trabajo. Y realmente cuando hablamos de la salud comunitaria, pues me impacta, lo veo un poquito diferente, de una forma distinta, porque uno empieza a decir, ok, las cosas que yo puedo sobrevivir o que las que yo puedo lidiar son distintas a las que yo quisiera que mi hijo tuviera que lidiar, ¿verdad? Que sí veo un poco distinto que los niños no puedan ir para afuera si hay mucha violencia, si hay muchas gangas, que entonces tú dices, tú no quieres que tus hijos estén involucrados en eso. Y entonces que antes pues lo veía diferente, porque lo veo como algo que siempre ha ocurrido y que podemos hacer cosas, pero que estas son nuestras mismas familias involucradas y pues que siempre iba a ser como que hay sus razones por cuál existe. Pero entonces lo veo distinto en términos de, ok, pues cómo vamos a realmente, cuál es la necesidad que tiene esa comunidad y si es mi comunidad, pues cómo vamos a lidiar con esto, porque yo quiero que donde mi niño crezca con una posibilidad de tener una buena salud física y mental, emocional, y que tenga acceso a parques, a sitios para jugar, a amiguitos que estén contentos, porque también si los demás están sufriendo, pues el mío va a sufrir. Tú sabes, pues no queremos que todos estemos bien. Pues eso como que le da una nueva énfasis el hecho de ser nueva mamá, cuando tomando en cuenta estas cosas que le dicen los social determinants of health, ¿verdad? Digo,
So, para todos ustedes que están interesados, vamos a tener, ya mañana mi equipo pone un flyer, lo cual le da a ustedes la oportunidad de hacer el enlace. So anybody, now you have to live in the city of Hartford, correct?
yes, eso sí, ese es el único requisito. No único, tienes que tener más de 18 años y tienes que vivir en Hartford.
Okay, so you have to be 18 years old and you have to be a resident of Hartford.
Uh-huh.
You don't have to have any type of traditional education or anything like that.
No,
Okay.
la educación que necesitamos es la de la vida. Usted conoce su vida, conoce su comunidad y eso es lo que se necesita. Nada más.
Y lo necesitamos ahora más que nunca. Esta es una oportunidad para todos nosotros entender cómo trabajan nuestros sistemas, cómo dejamos las cosas tranquilas y lo que se vuelve revolú, el enredo que se vuelve cuando no hacemos nada. Nada que usted esté pensando o soñando o preocupándose por ello es pequeño.
Sí.
I always tell my granddaughter, who's 16 now, I always tell her, baby, if it's in your head and in your heart, we must do something about it, even if it's a chat. Let's get it out here. Let's see. Let's play with it. Let's see what's bothering us and why. Chiedza, yo confío enteramente en tu confianza, en tu talento, en tu experiencia. Gracias. Sé que cuando te dedicas a algo, te dedicas de alma, corazón, eso es de cabeza. Y que la gente pueden esperar la mejor experiencia contigo porque tú no te rindes. Tú no te quitas, como decimos en Puerto Rico, tú no te quitas. Y por eso te admiro mucho y te quiero mucho. So, este programa está en estos momentos en las mejores manos que puede estar. Y le digo eso a nivel profesional, no tan solo personal. Yo, si tuviera que contratarla, la contrato, porque es una persona de verdad de confianza. Aparte de que ella ama a la comunidad. Y no tiene miedo. No dejen esa sonrisita que los confunda. Ella no tiene miedo. No tiene miedo a tener las conversaciones que son fuertes y difíciles. Y hasta a mí ella me ha enseñado un par de cositas que se han quedado conmigo que leo contra. Mami, tate easy conmigo. And she's like, no, you need to make sure you know about this, you know about that.
Yo le digo las verdades a las personas con una sonrisa.
Ay, no, y eso duele más. Porque cómo no se enoja con una persona que te está trayendo hello, y tú, pero ay, pero qué linda, me trajo café y un abracito, y hello, y ahí está adentro.
Pero Lili, perdóname que te interrumpa, se me olvidó un detallito importante. Reconociendo que esto es que en parte es un sacrificio también, que uno está dando de su tiempo, de su energía para tratar de resolver, de hacer algo en nuestra comunidad. Y tomando en cuenta también, ¿verdad? Que cuando estabas diciendo, uno va al supermercado y sale con 200 pesos, con 2 bolsitas de compra, ¿verdad? Y te vas a quedar con hambre a mitad del mes. Que
2
sí,
semanas.
sí, que sí hay un stipend, no sé cómo se dice stipend en español, por participar. Todo que participe va a recibir $2,700 por los 9 meses. Así como $300 al mes por ser parte del proyecto, por trabajar en este proyecto. So,
es un estímulo,
sí.
para todos ustedes. Yo no sé ustedes, pero $300 al mes a mí me ayudan en mi misión, pero también es un compromiso que ustedes hacen. No se olviden del aprendizaje también. Nosotros somos mucho más poderosos en nuestros hogares, educando a nuestros hijos, en nuestras comunidades, como las tías, como los primos. In any level, anytime we have wisdom, information, access to the same people, we make connections. We are able to communicate in ways that we didn't think we could before. And we can take all of those monkeys we have in the head saying, we should do something, we should do something, we should do something.
Yeah.
And why does someone else do it? This is an opportunity for you to say, you know what? I'm going to take my project, my ideas over there. I'm going to join onto this. And for 9 months, God only knows what beauty can come out of that.
It's up to us what comes out of it, right? Only what we put into it will come out. So, and again, we want to be the change we want to see in the world, right?
Amen.
And again, the stipend is not about saying like, this is how much your time is worth, because we can never pay what people's time is truly worth. It's just a little incentive, a little recognition that like, Mina, we also understand that you're giving a lot and we're asking a lot. So, and this is just a little token of appreciation for the effort, for putting yourself out there and giving back to the community, giving of yourself, right? So, yeah, that was all.
Señoras y señores, con nosotros en la pantalla, a pesar de que hemos tenido problemas técnicos que van a tener que bregar con ellos, no estoy feliz. En cuanto a eso, estoy muy feliz de estar con mi hermanita, Chiedza Rodríguez. Estoy muy feliz de todo el apoyo que nos están dando aquí, de todas las personas. Kathleen, always thank you for staying with us. Rose Crespo, thank you for the stars. Janet Rivera, thank you for the stars. Thank you for investing your money on Lily Sin Barreras, because this helps us move forward. It helps us bring people like Chiedza and others who are doing great work in our communities. I was asked a couple of days ago, literally maybe 3 days ago, Lily, ¿por qué no traes a gente más importante? Te la voy a contestar. No, it's not about you. Because esta es mi gente. These are the important people. Okay. I can bring you people. I mean, we've had psychologists and psychiatrists and stars and, whatever. But the real stars are those who are willing to get their hands dirty, who are willing to create, who are willing to exercise, come up with tangible projects. Okay. Not the fluff. Okay, so right now, and this is not Chiedza speaking of the city of Hartford, this is me. You're coming very close to voting. Very close to voting. I hope that everybody's going to register. I'm not asking you to vote for X, Y, or Z. I'm asking you to exercise your right. When we do this, it's another way of us saying we want more Chiedzas in the world. Okay. We want more people in the world that are going to do this kind of work. We do not have to leave sometimes our states and our countries to make change, because we need change here. Here, where we live, where our kids live. And, I'm the first one, if you invite me to go somewhere else to make anything. And so, but let's think about the real stars that we have right here in our communities. And if you know someone like Chiedza, and powerful in your community, and that they're doing things or want to do things or have a story, quieren contar algo, tienen una historia, que han sobrevivido, que han vivido, que están viviendo, que necesitan ayuda, este es el programa que te invita, porque nadie es pequeño en este programa.
Uh-huh.
Nadie. Ni los gatos. A menos que sepan hablar, pues entonces pues yo los invito, pero si no hablan, no pueden. Excuse me. So, hola Marilyn. There's a couple of people who have questions for you. Wow, this is a good one. Why did you become a lawyer if you're such a good activist? Question mark.
Why not?
I love that answer. Le preguntan a Chiedza aquí, ¿por qué decidiste ser abogada o licenciada o representante legal, como usted lo quiera llamar, ¿verdad? En este caso, en el caso de Chiedza, y ella dice, ¿por qué no? I love that answer. ¿Por qué no? Pues les quiero aclarar a todo el mundo que muchos de los activistas que conocemos también, practican leyes. So there is many lawyers who are activists. And you can do both. And many activists who choose not to be lawyers and vice versa. So you can definitely choose what you want to do. And I love that answer. This is Tommy saying, hey, girl, how are you? I think it's so important, Chiedza, that you are willing to take these jobs. I know these jobs don't pay. I'm sorry, I'm saying it. This is not Chiedza, the city of Hartford. Let's be clear, so nobody gets all sensitive on me or whatever. I know they're not paying you your worth. I know we can't afford to pay your worth, but I would like that to change. I would like that to change. Y cuando ustedes se levantan y levantan sus voces, así es que cambiamos las cosas. Así es que cambiamos las cosas. Vamos a tener toda la información necesaria para que ustedes, so everybody can know how to contact Chiedza about this particular project. But I'm going to say something that she's not going to like too much, but I'm going to say it anyway because she's far enough that I can run. She's an excellent trainer. Like excellent. So if you're looking for someone to convey, a facilitator, someone to get a group talking, you have a group, whatever it is, you have it in your house and you want somebody to get people to talk, she can get people to talk. From multi-generationals, because I remember at La Latina de Resistencia, we were different generations and the ability to work with all of us. So if you're looking for someone who can actually do that, understand that people need to be heard, understood, because we like to attack sometimes. What did she say? What did he say? Without really listening to the entire thought, sentiment, or reasoning behind what's being spoken about. So, Chiedza, people are going to get your information. It will be up tomorrow. Mi equipo está aquí en estos momentos, so that ellos lo van a recibir, and people will be contacting you. El compromiso es de 9 meses.
Sí.
Pero le va a dar vida a algo nuevo. Always remember, somebody else did it, but they don't do it like you do it.
No.
Always remember that.
A mí una de las cosas que mi esperanza es que las personas tengan una experiencia como las que yo he tenido, que realmente trabajando en cosas que nos impacta, que nos importa, nos hace sentir mejor, nos hace poder llevar todas esas cosas pesadas que tenemos que hacer todos los días, se hacen más llevaderas porque tenemos este espacio donde podemos realmente como que brillar, usar todo aspecto de quienes somos, haciendo lo que uno realmente siente y quiere, y el que está en control es uno, ¿verdad? Porque ¿quién es el que está decidiendo qué es lo que tiene que hacer? Uno, que no es que nadie te está mandando, you know? Y eso yo espero que es lo que las personas también puedan sentir cuando estén participando, que este sea un espacio donde digan, mira, esto me ayuda a mí a respirar más levemente, you know?
Esta es una invitación sincera, señoras y señores. Yo confío totalmente en ella y como le digo, si yo tuviera que contratarla, mañana la contrato, porque es excelente en lo que hace, su corazón está envuelto, pero su inteligencia es sumamente, no tan solo la educativa, porque una persona puede ser muy preparado académicamente, pero emocionalmente fracasar completamente. ¿Ok? En cómo comunicarse con los demás, en cómo invitar a los demás, en cómo integrar a los demás, en cómo aceptar que los demás pues no piensan o hablan como uno, no hablan como el otro, y que necesitan, a veces uno necesita, yo tengo un pensamiento, pero necesito a alguien que me ayude a desglosar cómo es que lo voy a hacer. O qué es lo que estoy pensando. En vez de lo que decimos, sometimes this is what we say. I feel, well, that feeling has a word. Are you angry? Are you sad? Are you frustrated? Are you hungry? Are you annoyed? Is it a bad day? Are you depressed because the sun didn't come out? And I get depressed when I don't get sun. What is the Chiedza has the ability to get a word for that feeling.
I'll get you to get a word. We'll create new meaning together.
New meanings, and that's what I love about this project. I just want to again thank everybody for the stars, everybody who's involved, everybody who's been patient with us. But I do want to share something with all of you. We love the love and respect and the dignity that we always get when Jeffrey Dressler and their law decides to invest in our movement, because we are a movement. Nosotros somos un movimiento, no somos una agencia. Yo lo que quiero crear es un movimiento. Yo lo que quiero crear es un ambiente donde mis nietas digan, mi abuela fue parte de. Porque ya mis hijas, pues mi hija tiene 33 años y ya los chicos están grandes, ya yo estoy en etapa de nietos y me fascina. Pero quiero dejar en el jardín eso, y el programa se trata de eso, de traer estas semillas tan importantes que tenemos, que ya se han hecho flores, que ya se han hecho árboles, que ya se han hecho parte de nuestra naturaleza para que podamos tener un mundo mejor. El oxígeno más lindo del mundo lo trae el ser humano. El abrazo, el beso, el cariño, si me quieres a mí el café. Me puedes dar té, pero me quieres más cuando me das café. Although I should be drinking more tea, right?
And not flavored coffee. Don't get it twisted. Not
oh,
flavored
no,
coffee.
that's right. You learned that, right? I don't like no flavored coffee. No makalaka, chakalaka, whatever that's called. I never understand when people order. I'm like, holy cow. I always look at the person who's taking the order or the barista. And you should quit now. I'm annoyed. Just have coffee.
Just have coffee.
Muchísimo a Jeffrey Dressler. Juanita, you know we love you. Everyone who buys the star helps us. Thank you for all you have done. Thank you for being patient. Thank you a mi equipo de Buds Ads por siempre estar pendiente ahí, que hoy mismo fueron a saludarme a ver lo que estaban haciendo. And to every brother and sister who's out in the street and who allows us to serve. It takes a lot from a human being to say, I need something. I need something. And I want to put this in your hearts. Just try it. As a trainer, I tell you this all the time. You want to see how difficult change is? Move the basket that most of us have, the garbage little basket that you have in your bathroom, to the opposite side. Si tiene el zafaconcito ese en el baño que todos tenemos, la mayoría de nosotros, ¿verdad? En el baño a mano derecha, usted quiere ver cuán difícil es el cambio y cuánto el cerebro le dice que así, que no, que ya aprendí que es así, que es así, que es así. Si está a mano derecha, cámbielo a la mano izquierda. Y me cuenta, me dice, ¿cuánto tiempo le tomó para que su cerebro dijera, no puedo tirar el papelito a la derecha, ahora a la izquierda? ¿Y cuántas veces usted se va a enojar y si se rinde o no? Do we quit Or do we keep practicing and practicing and holding on to it and holding on to it until we get it? One of the most beautiful things that my grandmother always taught me is that siempre está mañana, mami. She would always tell us, tomorrow is always there. Because whatever you consider today as a failure, it's just the building block. It's just the building block. It's just a reminder to let you know you're still not where you need to be. You're still not where you need to be, but you're not where you used to be.
Yeah.
Remember that. Everybody, please remember that. Call somebody, let them know that Chiedza's alive, that Chiedza's here, that she wants to give you $300 a month. You know, Elby's going to be like, I cannot believe Lily said that, because that's not what we do here. Can you see her? Can you see her? I can see her. I cannot believe my girl said that. No, I'm joking. That's not what they're trying to do. The stipend is just something that I'm glad they integrated into it. But Chiedza's right. There's no money in the world that can be given to you that values what you can bring to the table. What I love about this is that we here in Lily Sin Barreras are always breaking barriers. So if you have something in that belly of yours that's been burning for a while, okay, like the bees at the park at South Park Inn. Can we do something about the bees that are there? Can we give them some love so they don't eat my food? Can we do something about those bees? It could be that I can bring to Chiedza and say, you know, we can't even sit at the park because of the bees. I can't take my kids to that park because of the bees. We don't want the bees to go away because they have a right to be in the world and they offer a lot.
Yeah, they got to pollinate. But maybe we could find some kind of beekeeper that can tell us about how to best help those bees to be productive and yet not in our way.
Exactly. So here we always give a price of $50. Kuto won't tell us. He won, 2 weeks ago. He just doesn't want the money. He won't tell us where to send it. Ya tú sabes, Kuto. But I want to give you guys an opportunity to take home $50 tonight. What did Chiedza say that was your... Can't say aha because that's Oprah's. I don't mess with Oprah. But what made you think? ¿Qué te hizo pensar que Oprah? Hey, Oprah, we're talking about you, girl. Oprah. Now I need to say Ellen DeGeneres because you can't say Oprah without Ellen DeGeneres. That's like, for me, that's like so important. So, ¿qué Chiedza dijo hoy? Rapidito. Pueden ustedes inmediatamente escribir qué los hizo pensar que hay otra forma de hacer las cosas o algo que los animó. What did Chiedza say tonight that made you think, that inspired you, or that pissed you off? How come I didn't know about this? How come there are people already in the program and I don't know about this? So you have 2 minutes to come up with something like that y llevarse $50 a su casa. Again, I want to thank Wanda Ehlers, Margarita Gonzalez, Josefina Corales, Rose Crespo, Kathleen St. Hours, Raquel Maldonado, Elsie Esteves, que es mi mamá. It's so hard to like call her by her name. Jacqueline Otero, Jacqueline Rivera, Manuel Salvanero. Ay, Dios mío. ¿Saben lo que Wanda está celebrando? That the Steelers won. Todo el mundo sabe lo que son los Steelers.
Sí,
los robones. Los robones, porque los Steelers son los robones, ¿verdad?
Like,
that's what it means. Yeah, Wandita es fanática de los Steelers y ellos ganaron hoy. So celebren con Wandita. Esta noche no duerme. Ella no duerme esta noche. So the $50, I do want to tell you, oh my God, I can't believe I forgot this, that there's a family in Puerto Rico, and we will show you the pictures. There was a woman in Puerto Rico, a nice, beautiful woman who's asthmatic, and due to the hurricane and Luma not being able to live up to their contract. Yes, look at my face. This is how I feel about that. Okay, that's my feeling. Those are my words. Luma, get out. So let's not get it twisted. It should not be apagón after apagón after apagón after apagón. We should never normalize that Puerto Rico doesn't have light. Okay, I don't want to hear my mother go, "Pues." No, I don't want to hear that nonsense.
Yeah.
Puerto Rico deserves to have electricity because we still have to pay for it. Okay, so one of the things that we were able to do, people send in donations and then they say to me, well, I want you to spend it in this or in that. Dressler Law did not do that, so we were able to buy a generator for this wonderful woman so she can continue having her therapy consistently. Well, Lily, the hurricane is over. Well, it's not over. It's not over. We still have people living under tarps in Puerto Rico from Irma, from Maria, still over there living in tarps. And when someone cannot have access to their medication, to their pumps, to their treatments, dialysis, I mean, this is sickening. I know, Kathleen, you are a retired nurse. Everybody loves Kathleen. Bring your passion to life and make it positive change for others. Amen to that. That's Kathleen. I want to remind you guys that it was because of is that the baby?
Yes.
It's because of Dressler Law that we were able to purchase that generator. And people said to me, well, it's just one generator. It's one life. And if I can make an impact, if we can make an impact in one life, we save one life. Who can then live and help others. Chiedza, we love you. There's a whole bunch of people here that love you. We trust you. We wish you the best on this project. Please come back and let us know how it's going. We will post it tomorrow. Let us know if we have done it right. If you want anything else posted in it. And, this is great. Before we go, nobody wants the $50. That's okay with me. We put them for next week. One of our gentlemen that we met today has now been located at one of the hotels by a donation of one of our sponsors. So thank you, Jonathan. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. He called me earlier. Well, text me and said, what can I do? And I said, I have someone out there who can really use a safe spot for a couple of days until something else opens up. And he just texted me to let me know that he took care of that. So thank you, everybody, for joining us. Gracias, gracias, gracias a Bebé, que te dejó pasar tiempo con nosotros, y a mamá, y a papá.
Me está llamando, por eso me paré así.
Derechita, derechita. Don't forget that there's a higher power out there taking care of us. Let's unite into the town of Bristol. We love you. We will always, always respond here in Bristol, in Hartford. And I know that the police community and the cities and every member is suffering and it's hurting. So what can we do to make things better? Let's not normalize violence ever. Peace has a price, but this should not be it. Buenas noches a todos. I will see you next Sunday. Our Chiedza was like, oh, you look nice. I was like, hey, girl, I shower on Sundays. Don't expect that every day, I love you guys, and I hope that you can enjoy the rest of the evening. Stay safe. All right? We'll see you soon.
Adios.
Bye, baby. Good night.
Good night.